If I could go back and restart my fitness journey, there are a ton of things that I would do differently and mistakes that I would try to prevent. I spent so much time overtraining, undereating, obsessing over the wrong things, and it dramatically reduced the results that I was able to obtain. And given the amount of time that I've been on my fitness journey, I could have been so much further along had I avoided some of the mistakes. So today in this video, I'm going to go through 10 things that I wish I would have known sooner in my fitness journey. These would have saved me time and stress, and if I had prevented these mistakes, or if I would have known these things sooner, I would have gotten results way quicker. Let's start with sleep. For years, I treated sleep as something that was optional. I would cut my sleep in the name of getting in a very early morning workout, of working more at the office, and in the name of getting more things done, I was sacrificing my sleep. I would literally be running on fumes and caffeine in the name of being productive and grinding and getting things done and being that hard worker. But little did I know, I was completely draining myself of health and just putting so much stress on my body. Because the truth is, getting proper sleep and sufficient sleep is critical for all sorts of things, from just proper recovery, basic health, and your hormones. Like, if you're not getting good sleep, your body is going to be, at the very least, stressed. At worst, you're going to have severe negative health consequences. And regardless of what you do, regardless of how well you eat or the supplements you take, there is no getting around a lack of sleep and having poor sleep hygiene. I will fully admit, my sleep is a work in progress. I am trying to get better about, one, getting a longer duration of sleep. My biggest issue is before bed. I have had a busy day. I like to cozy up under the blankets and scroll Instagram. But that is the exact opposite sign that I should be sending my body at that time of day. I should not be staring at a bright screen. I should be in dim light, chilling out. So that is something that I am definitely working on. So for this first tip, I would encourage you to kind of assess your current sleep routine. I know there is the case of, should I work out or should I get extra sleep? That's really going to be a case-by-case game time decision. Should I sleep more? Should I get up and get a workout in? But if you are chronically undersleeping, I'm going to guess that you should probably aim to get more sleep. For the longest time, I let my life be dictated by the scale. For those of you who are new here, I did struggle with anorexia for several years. And so if I would weigh myself every single day, first thing in the morning, and if my weight was up, that meant it was going to be a bad day. If my weight was down, I was good. But I spent so much time, so much mental energy just obsessing over that number. But the truth is, the scale does not tell the whole story. Yes, it says how much of an impact your body is having with the gravitational pull of the earth and this magical number that's showing up on the scale. But the scale doesn't say things like how much muscle you've put on, or what your energy's like. What's the status of your hormones? Are you able to think clear? The scale doesn't say any of that. It doesn't even tell you the composition of your body. Like, have you gained muscle and lost fat? I don't know. The scale does not tell that. It is one number, and I think as a whole, a lot of us really focus on that number and give it more weight than we should. There are so many other metrics that you can focus on during your fitness journey. For me right now, it's how is my sleep? How is my digestion? Am I able to think clearly? Am I in desperate need of caffeine several times throughout the day? Do I feel like I'm getting stronger with my lifts when I strength train? Am I in a better mood and just more tolerable to be around? How are my clothes fitting? Those metrics are so much more telling about what's going on. They paint a more detailed picture than just the number on the scale. I love buying supplements as much as probably anybody does, and I've definitely done my fair share of buying useless supplements over the years, because there's this weird dopamine hit that you get when you buy supplements. And I think it's I was thinking about this, it's kind of twofold. Like, one, when you buy a supplement, you get just the dopamine hit that I think everybody gets when they're just shopping. Like, you bought something new, kind of exciting, so you get a dopamine hit there. But I feel like there's this added layer of, you've bought a supplement, and this supplement is going to improve your health. It's going to make you feel better, make you live longer, make you more attractive, like whatever the marketing around that supplement is. But there's that added layer that makes you feel like, I'm doing something that's good for me. Like, this is really, really good. We get excited, we want to try it, we see our favorite influencers using these supplements, and we get just suckered into this world of crazy supplements. But the truth is that a lot of supplements are basically useless, and even if they do work, a lot of them provide just the slightest bit of improvement that the cost to benefit ratio really does not make sense for a lot of us. Over the last little while, I have tried to narrow down how many supplements I'm taking, because a lot of them just do not make that big of a difference that it's really necessary for me to take them. So at this point, I take vitamin D because my doctor notified me that I'm low in vitamin D. So there we are. I take creatine because it is the most studied supplement out there, and it is proven to help with building lean muscle mass. So I take creatine. I might take a multivitamin. I don't eat any fish, so I do take an omega supplement. And I also take magnesium because it helps me sleep. But it's like just the bare bones stuff. If you see an influencer and they have this whole lineup, I learned about this thing called, what is it? Pan Project? I think people are just like panning over all these things that they have. And I feel like influencers just have this long row of their supplement stack. It is so expensive and completely unnecessary. So my advice to you, take the basics and just put your head in the sand about everything else. When I first started strength training, I wasn't in a public gym. I was at my house in my basement doing stuff. I had no concept of form whatsoever. I was just going about the motions, did not care or did not realize how important proper form is. For one, proper form is going to ensure that you avoid injury. I made the terrible mistake of deadlifting back in the day with atrocious form, and I ended up hurting my lower back for a very, very long time. So there's avoiding injury. Number two, you're going to get better results if you're using proper form for a given exercise. If we look at something like Romanian deadlift, if you're not using proper form with that, like, okay, your lower back is likely going to get hurt, but two, it's just not going to target the muscles that movement is supposed to target. So you're more or less just wasting your time if you're not using proper form. And it is also really important to consider that when you're just trying to decide how much weight to use with a given exercise. If you are not able to maintain your form with the weight that you're using, you need to go lighter. We want to prioritize form over weight. Make sure we're maintaining that form throughout the entire motion for every single rep that you're doing, because that's the way that exercise is going to properly target those muscles and therefore get you the results that you're looking for. When I first started my fitness journey, everything was about aesthetics. I wanted six-pack abs. I wanted toned arms. I wanted just that toned athletic look that I saw so many influencers have. And I also wanted to be a bikini competitor. So that's like definitely an emphasis on aesthetics. But the truth is that there is more to training than just how you look. I feel like if that is your only reason for training is just to achieve a certain body type or a certain look, it ends up being this never-ending chase. There's this weird thing that happens where even if you do achieve the body that, like 3 years ago you thought was just the body, it ends up, the goalpost keeps getting moved. You never feel like you've achieved what you want. It's never good enough. It's just this endless pursuit of some unattainable physique that you end up on. And that kind of fitness, it just drains you because it has zero emphasis on health. And in fact, for myself personally, that pursuit of aesthetics would actually totally intentionally compromise health in the name of aesthetics. I would, like competing in bikini competitions, you diet down so hard, you lose your menstrual cycle, your hormones absolutely tank, everything in your life tanks because your health is just in distress. And for what? To look a certain way that's currently trendy? Like, it makes hindsight's 2020. Like, to me, it just makes zero sense to do that to yourself. I think the better option is to work with your body, also have an emphasis on performance and health and how you're feeling. And the funny thing is, when you do that, when the emphasis gets removed from aesthetics to more performance and health and just improving, your body naturally, like that aesthetic toned athletic look comes as a byproduct. It's very ironic how that works. So this one comes with a bit of a story. So story time with Katrina. In the middle of March of this year, I randomly had a knee injury, and it was the most bizarre injury ever with the side of my knee. And it all stemmed back from the fact that I was doing zero mobility. I was on point with my strength training, not doing a lick of mobility. And I ended up injured because of it. And I'm recording this in October. I am still fighting with that injury to this day, over 6 months later. All because I did not take the time to do any sort of mobility for my lower body. Mobility is so important for your posture, your range of motion, for developing strength, for just movement of your body in general. And if you neglect it, it is going to bite you in the butt at some point. It might not be now, you might be 25 and you're good, but you get to 34 and guess what? Mobility is going to come knocking and say, here, I have a present for you, and it's called injury. So, learn from my mistake. Do some mobility. It doesn't take much. You can literally do 5 minutes a day, but just that little bit of consistent work on staying mobile, staying flexible will go a long, long way in preventing injury, which if you've had an injury, you know how much of a pain in the butt it is to recover after that's happened. So what does the saying go? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I think one of the most common pieces of fitness advice that we hear is to move more, get your steps in. And that's great. Walking is great, getting your steps in is great. I think as a whole, we are a very sedentary population, so getting more steps in is great. I took that to the extreme. When you get one of these suckers, hello, Apple Watch, when you get one of those suckers on your arms and you have an A-type kind of perfectionist personality like I do, it can be bad news bears, and that is exactly what happened to me. It goes from innocently being like, that's how many steps I'm getting, I'm gonna try and get a little bit more. You kind of gamify it a little bit. Then you hear that you should be getting 10,000 steps a day. So you make that your new mile marker that you want to get every day. And it just becomes an obsession. Like, how many steps did I get in? Have I gotten enough steps in today? Do I need to go out for a walk in the dark because I didn't get my steps in? It's exhausting. And I think it kind of, at a certain point, defeats the purpose of getting in more movement for the sake of it being good for your health. Now it's moved to, I'm getting more movement in because this is now an addiction and an obsession that is going to mess with my head if I don't, because I'm just obsessing on it. and I'm gonna get anxiety if I don't get the steps. Like, there's definitely a line there where it goes from obsessive and a problem versus for health and because it's good for my body. My advice for you, if you can, take the Apple Watch off. Go for a walk because it's beautiful outside. It's good for your health. It's good for your mental health to be out in nature. Go do that because it just feels good and is something that you enjoy and you know is good for your overall health. Forget tracking the steps. Do what you can throughout the week and leave it at that. It does not need to be a metric that is constantly tracked or something that needs to give you anxiety. It should be doing the opposite of giving you anxiety. We are fully in the influencer era where I think there's an influencer for everything. On a side note, I just recently got introduced to the world of cleaning influencers. Like literally millions of views of them cleaning their house. I'm getting great tips on how to clean this establishment, but oh my gosh, I did not realize that was so much of a thing. Anyways, fitness influencers. They're great to follow, great for inspiration, not so great for having advice. For a few reasons. One, a lot of fitness influencers have zero credentials, or if they do, oftentimes they are a weekend course to say you are a certified personal trainer. They do not have the knowledge that is required to properly train someone when it comes to their fitness or their nutrition. And on top of that, nutrition-wise, a lot of them are not allowed to be giving nutrition advice because in a lot of places that is restricted to registered dietitians. These people are not educated enough to be educating the masses on these things. And number two, when it comes to influencers, we do not have the full story. Even if they say they're giving us the full story, we do not know that. You know, they might say they have done this workout program or done this meal plan, taken these supplements, and this is the results that they got. Copy me and you will get the same results. So for one, that may not be accurate. They may be doing something completely different in the background that you don't know about. They might have a severe eating disorder, their hormones might be in the tank, and they are taking all sorts of prescription medications that we don't even have a clue about. Even if they are truthful though, let's say they do that workout program and that nutrition plan and take these supplements, that does not mean that if you take a copy of that and apply it to yourself that you are going to get the same results. They are living in a different environment, they have different genetics than you do. Take influencer advice with a grain of salt. I would encourage you to find influencers out there who are educated, and there are some. The thing is, their social media often isn't as flashy as the more well-known influencers, but that's because they're focused on the science and the education piece rather than the influencing piece. But yes, those maybe lesser known fitness professionals, those are the ones that you should be following. I was on a call with my coach, my dietitian yesterday, and she was asking me about stress and she was asking me what I was doing because as she's gotten to know me, she has recognized that I'm a bit of a stressed girly. I feel like I always mention something stress related in my life, whether it's my work or whatever is going on. And it was a good reminder to really work on trying to take some time to pause. Today at work was a great example. I had a morning of training a new hire, so it's constantly just on and dealing with stuff with him, but then a client came in that wanted to sit down and talk to me, and then in the meantime in the background, like I'm getting flooded with emails from everything else that I then need to address. And it's like by the time I got to lunchtime, I hadn't even taken time to go to the bathroom. I'm just frenzied, and now I'm expecting myself to sit down and properly digest my lunch. Like, breathe, remind myself, you need to take time to breathe, chill out, go for a short walk, and just regroup. I think that has been a huge missing piece in my fitness journey, is pausing throughout the day, trying to bring my stress levels down, dealing with anxiety, and intentionally developing practices that help me with that to maybe avoid stress proactively, but also having tools in my toolbox to effectively deal with stress if and when it pops up. I think it's very underrated on how important that is. You know, we focus on our workouts and our nutrition and our supplements. The stress management piece very much so gets neglected, and I'm still working on that. My dietitian mentioned that I should maybe try some sort of prayer practice or journaling in the morning. I really, really want to do that, but just like actually executing on it is tough, and it's something I'm still working on, but I am committed to working on it because I know it will have extreme benefits for me in terms of my health, my hormones, all that good stuff. I think in the world of Instagram, we've gotten really bad about jumping from program or workout to workout, because you get like those swipe workouts, so you'll do that, maybe you'll pick something on YouTube to do, and there's either no consistent program or you research and pick a program but then you don't stick to it. I really, really encourage you to find a program and stick to it, because you will be amazed at the results you can get if you find a program and are consistent with it, because that is where you can really lock in on this concept of progressive overload, where you're gradually increasing and improving week after week. If you're doing random workouts every single time you go to the gym, it is really, really hard to track on whether you're making progress or not. But if you really stick to, say, doing the same workout on Monday for 4 to 6 weeks. So maybe we'll do a lower body workout. We're gonna do that same lower body workout for the next 6 weeks on Monday. And just like be very consistent. You will be amazed at how good you see results if you do that. And just remember that you do not see results with health and fitness overnight. It takes time, progress is slow, and I know that is frustrating, but just be patient, be consistent, and the results will come in due time. Like I said, I've made many mistakes along the way in my fitness journey. I'm still making mistakes today. I think having a coach has helped maybe prevent some of those mistakes, but I hope you've learned something from today and can take away something from my mistakes and maybe shortcut your progress by eliminating some of those mistakes in your own life. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.